place. I'm Joanne.
I'm Amy.
And we're at Amy's house.
Yes, welcome to my living room. And my dining room's back there.
Yep.
So.
We had knit-in this weekend, so we couldn't record this weekend. And prior to that, you were in California.
Yeah, visiting the kid.
And next week, you're going away again.
Yeah, I'll have sand in my toes. Getting sunburned. I hope not. But, yeah.
Okay.
From the board of a cruise ship. And, well, we'll be island hopping. And I read this morning, Ron, I couldn't believe it. A cruise ship ran aground, leaving the port in Punta Cana.
Oh my!
And on the Dominican Republic. It was in the Dominican Republic. From the cruise part, and literally ran aground. But they refloated it.
Okay.
And apparently there weren't any holes in the hull. So.
Oh wow! I wonder, do they have to get like a bunch of weight off of it or something to refloat it?
I have no idea what they did.
Oh.
But what's fascinating about it, though, is that they just kept going. And it's like, okay. But, yeah. I will say, having left many ports on a cruise ship, they are really narrow channels. They're marked with buoys on either, red on one side, green on the other side, so you always know which direction you're going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not real wide, and I have seen it where you're looking down like from your balcony up on the ship, and when you look over, you have to look straight down, and the buoy's like right down there. It's narrow, and that's pretty much standard procedure.
Because you gotta dig it so deep for that spot.
Right. So fascinating reading that this morning.
Yeah.
So, but we're not going to the Dominican Republic, so we'll be fine.
Hopefully you don't have that same captain.
I think he's probably in a little hot water right now.
I would guess so.
Yes, but when you look at the bridge on a cruise ship, everything is computer. So how they actually run aground like that? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have sonar. So sonar would tell you, a little closer. But I don't know. I have no idea how that happens.
Yeah, they need to get that stuff up that's on new cars. My sister has it where it's lane assist.
Oh, yeah, I have that.
And she says, I go to that big curve in Green Bay, I can just let go, and it takes me right around.
Well, in mine, if I get like too close to either the center line or the side of the road, my steering wheel vibrates.
Oh, okay.
Like, wake up.
No, hers just takes over.
Yeah, no, mine doesn't take over. But there are times where mine will break. Like if I see someone ahead of me like turning and I don't slow down enough for my car, my car will brake for me.
Okay.
Yeah, tells me what to do sometimes.
Okay. Bossy car.
Yeah, no kidding. Whatever.
Yeah. So, did you get a lot of knitting done in California?
I knit every day.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a lot. I think that since I was traveling by myself, it was more airplane knitting and airport sitting knitting.
Sure.
Oh, and then never fails. I'm sitting in the airport. Where was I? Denver or Vegas? I don't remember. Was it on the way out or the way home? Nope, it was on the way home. And a lady walks up to me. You can bring your knitting needles? Okay, for goodness sakes. The whole knitting needle crisis on airplanes and traveling was a direct result of things that happened on 9/11. That's when the world went crazy. Now, prior to that, I have traveled the world with my knitting needles because, that was my last international trip with knitting needles other than the Caribbean. Was to Germany in was a World Cup 2006. So obviously after 9/11, everybody has to redo the rules. Okay, Since then, I have only had trouble with knitting needles in one airport, and that was Mexico. Mexico has an issue with knitting needles. Well, I don't take interchangeables. I take my fixed circs because that's what I like to knit with the best. I don't do any of the hide the tip in a pencil case kind of tricks. I mean, people do, but no.
Yeah.
I travel. They go right in with me, and I don't care. If you are traveling in the United States, you don't have to do anything. Knitting needles are literally on the list of okay things to bring on a plane.
But I've heard people say they've lost them.
It depends upon where they're going. Mexico's the worst.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's every TSA, I guess, there's
Every
subject to
country's TSA.
them. No, every airports. Yep, that's what they said.
Oh, I
'Cause
have
called and
never.
asked for somebody, and they said every airport's TSA is their own discretion. And they've had them taken away as close as Michigan coming,
Never.
So
I have never.
It's just who you get in a bad mood that day, and the threat level. If it's orange or red, they're more careful than if it's yellow.
Well, I don't know.
So,
I have never, ever.
Yeah,
I've had Mexico question me, but never in the United States have I ever had any issues traveling in an airport.
Okay.
And now, for going for the cruise, we fly out of Milwaukee. We land in, I'm thinking Fort Lauderdale, Ron said. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale. And I'm not worrying about it.
Okay.
I will have, on the plane, I usually just take one project that's not big, because you don't want a huge project taking up seat space and whatever. But I'll take one, and I'll have another one in my suitcase, because I usually take more than one. But and that will be checked, so there's no issue with that.
There's no issue checking it.
But yeah, I have never. I mean, they've literally never even questioned me.
Okay.
It's like sometimes, they'll see something, I'm not sure what that is in your bag when you go through security, and they'll say, can you come over here? And then they dig through your bag. I remember the last time that happened, it was denture powder for my mother. My mom was in Vegas, and it was when my dad got sick. And my mom was out in Vegas, and she said, well, I'm staying here longer. I need more of my denture powder. And I had to go get her some because she needs this specific kind, Mom couldn't use anything else.
Right.
Okay, whatever, Mom, I'll get it. So got her denture powder, because she doesn't even know if out in Vegas. She said, I've never even seen it out here. So maybe they didn't carry that brand out there, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so I go to Walgreens, get her a denture powder, and I had it in my carry-on. It was the denture powder that the TSA flagged, because apparently I don't know, there was something in it that their screener didn't like. Okay. And denture powder, that's what
Did they keep it then?
Oh no, once they saw what it was, they were fine with it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, they didn't question it. Once they got it, but they can't take it out of your bag unless you're standing right there. Yeah. And so, they took it out and they looked at it and they noticed it wasn't even open yet. Okay. And, completely sealed. And I said, yeah, it's my mom's denture powder. Oh. And they put it back in my bag. Here you go. And away I went. Okay. But that's the only time. And let's see. That was in April. I was traveling. And that's the other thing is I'm traveling through airports. Like spring break is like crazy in Milwaukee. I travel that every year. Never any issues.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so, oh well. Okay. Amy's travels.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the podcast.
Podcasting stuff.
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? I am wearing Loop by Casapinka.
Yep, I noticed that.
I love this one. This is one of my favorite. It's long and really curved. And it gets to be a bazillion stitches when you're getting to the end, but whatever. Okay.
Nice. I like that one.
And it's in my favorite color yarn, this gray. This gray. It's not made anymore. It's called Bitches Brew. Oh, yeah. From Brew City. Yep. I love that gray. When I was digging through the stash last week, I found, I have some. Oh. Okay. I was so happy to see that. And the funny thing is, I'm thinking, but now that I found it, I'll never use it, because to me that's collectible yarn. And it's really weird. There's just some yarn in my stash that probably will never get knit.
Yeah.
because it's like,
Too precious.
yeah, and that's just dumb. I don't know.
I am wearing unprecious yarn. It's Encore Decay, the pixelated pullover.
I love that
It's
pullover.
very
I should make that.
comfortable to wear. It's very nice, but because it is 100% acrylic, you can't wear it where it's warm out. You will sweat. You know, Encore.
Got it.
Yeah, but I mean, in the cold weather, it's perfect. Or, you know, like if I go play cards, it's kind of cool. Although I don't wear my hand knits when I play cards because
the guys smoke.
Yeah. Oh, and we don't want to talk about cards because I lost last night.
Oh my God.
It's the once a month poker.
Yeah.
I lost 27.50. Yeah. So then, what's
I have a pile of FOs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am doing Sarah Shiraz's Imagined Landscapes Gnome of the Month. So here's my March gnome. I love him. I made him look like a leprechaun. I just love him.
Yep, I like his beard. I like those curly beards.
Yeah. Well, and I just thought, you know, the redhead with the curly hair, perfect.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, I love him. And I think his arms are a little short. He's got short, stubby arms, but whatever.
Oh, well.
And then, but then the other thing is, this is the first time I did the nose a different color from the beard.
Oh, okay.
Because the nose is actually just a bobble knit in that row.
Okay.
And so your cast on, this one you knit up and down.
Uh-huh.
And then, so your cast on is here, and then you're increasing, and you do these rows. And then when you get to the middle, you make your bobble.
Okay.
And then
you sew that whole beard piece on?
yeah, it's all sewed
Okay.
on like underneath here.
Okay.
So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I and this one I weighted with washers.
Oh,
So it's softer up here, but heavier on the bottom.
okay.
And I just took 3 washers and I wrapped them in batting to make like a little batting pillow. And that's what's down in this section of the gnome. And then it sits real nice.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
yep. So there's my March gnome.
Okay.
And we were talking about plain knitting. This is actually what I finished on the plain. This is Casapinka's Poncho. So it's just a poncho. I made a modification. I added this extra stripe here.
Okay.
I didn't like the fact that the only place I used the corally pink was on the bottom ribbing and the neckline.
Okay.
I wanted more of that in there. So I didn't know where to put it. And the other thing is, she put the darker color up here, I put the white.
Okay.
Because I had enough blue and I had enough white to do it either way.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I'm going to do white.
Okay.
And so now I haven't blocked this yet.
Okay. Is this Leading Men?
No, it's Emma's yarn.
Oh, okay.
This was, she did this for local yarn shop day, well, last year or the year before, I don't remember. I think it was last year. Why? But anyways, and a lot of shops had like kits. So this was a kit that I bought from Emma's Yarn.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know if she's got anything coming out for the yarn shop day this year.
Yeah, she had an email. I don't remember the details.
I haven't heard anything online, so.
Yeah, that's next month.
I always like to, whatever she puts out that day, I always like to, you know, partake.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I mean, this yarn, it's just incredibly soft.
yeah.
And this is unblocked. Okay,
Yeah.
it is a super wash. I'm expecting it to grow a bit, but yeah. So this is what I knit on the plain.
Okay.
Yeah, I had, I think I was up to like this increase. And so then when I got to California, it was nothing but stripes. And I would try to get like a stripe or 2 done a day.
Okay.
And well, it was easier up here.
Yeah.
You got down here, forget that. So I finished that. And then, okay, I've been doing, those are they're woven in, I just didn't snip. I've been doing Woolly Thistle's color work knit along. It's all accessories. And so that's why I've been on this color work tear. What did I do before the trip? I did something. Oh, yeah, my green and black hat and mittens. I think I showed those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I thought looked like the Hemp for Heroes hat.
I love that hat.
It is, but those colors, when I seen it across, it just reminded me of that sign. You know, it was just the same colors. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, you know, some weird things get stuck in your head.
But I have a lime green jacket.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yep.
With that jacket. I love that ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, because I can knit hats, I could probably wear a different hat. I love knitting hats. I think knitting hats are fun.
Yeah.
So I could wear a different hat, I swear, with every different coat twice a week.
Okay.
You know? I love knitting hats. Okay. So because I've been doing that, this is the one I knit. I'm going to wear this week.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that.
Shamrocks.
It's all shamrocks. So it's got a double wide brim. That took forever to freaking knit that stocking or that ribbing. But it's color work and it's shamrocks. And I just think it's cute.
Yeah, and a nice pom-pom.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I made that this morning, actually. Because I had everything done on the hat. But on the inside, I got a bow. It'll come off if I want it off. It's kind of heavy. So, we'll see. But yeah, so the hat's blocked and everything. But I think this ribbing's a little wide.
Oh.
Whatever. But nonetheless.
That'll keep your ears warm.
It will. I just thought it was so cute.
It is cute, yeah.
You know, and I ran across a pattern. It was, I don't know if I paid for it or not. I don't remember. I don't even remember the name of it. I'll have to put it.
Yeah. Speaking of names, I've been getting some comments that they don't know what the pattern names are. You got to remember to put them in Ravelry.
Okay, I'll remember. I suck at remembering.
Okay. And you got it. That's your job because mine never have a pattern to put down.
Okay, well, yeah, you do. It's pixelated pullover.
Yeah.
Okay, I will put them in Ravelry.
Okay.
I'll do it before I'll have it in Ravelry probably before this is even published because I got to do it. I got to do it right away. Otherwise, I won't remember. So.
Yeah, before you even put your stuff away, you can just zip it in there.
Yeah, I will because then I'll remember. Oh, yeah, I had that and that and that. Okay, and now.
Okay.
The best project of the week.
Yeah.
I love these things. Okay, this was a whim. It was Sunday. And these, I was looking, I was posting this to the Ravelry group for Woolly Thistle. So I'd get my credit for that colorwork hat. And somebody posted these, and I loved them. And they're slippers. Colorwork slippers. I knit them out of one skein of Lopi, of blue and one of white. These are not blocked yet. But, okay, so you start, and right here is the back of the heel. You start there with Judy's Magic Cast On. And then you knit this way and this way. So there's your heel. Looks like a toe of a sock. Mm-hmm. That's actually all it is increases the way you would increase for a toe or increase for a heel or, you know, it's just increases here. And then you get up to, 60 stitches because there's 60 around. And then once you're up to 60 stitches, you do one more repeat, I think. And then you put the heel stitches on hold. You just put some scrap yarn and then cast on for the top of the foot. So now you're working on the bottom of the heel and the top of the foot. And then you go down, you knit this way to get to the end. Now the best part though is a new technique. You've got this white edge going around and it's framed by a blue column on either side. So what you do is you're decreasing these top stitches, but you like make the corner and you go over. And it's so cool. And then you end up Kitchenering this edge here with this edge here. So cool. It wasn't hard to do. Once when I read the pattern, okay, it made no sense in my head. Okay. But then once I had the sock done and to the point where I could do it, then it made sense.
Okay.
Yeah, because then what you're doing is you're knitting two together on each side so it goes over. So it made, I
Okay.
just thought, it was cool. It wasn't hard.
Okay.
But you just, you
gotta
just
trust the pattern.
you trust the pattern and do what it says.
Okay.
So, but it's ELVE socks is the pattern. Now I'll block these this afternoon.
Yeah.
And then
You have to be careful not to felt those.
well,
The lopey. They'd shrink a little.
oh yeah, I'll just soak them in the sink
Yeah,
and dry
yeah.
them flat. They'll be okay. I'm not worrying about them felting. But and then after you've got the toe closed, then you come back and you do an I-cord. You pick up you got your back stitches that are live here, and then you pick up along this edge. You could do a provisional cast on there if you wanted to. I just have never done a provisional cast on with two colors, but I'm sure it could be done. I'm sure it could be done. You know, especially if you do like it over.
Because the provisional part that you cast on gets ripped out.
Right.
So it's just your first row you knit with two colors.
Right. Yeah, you'd have to. You could do it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I just used the backward loop, and that worked real well too. So, those are my FOs. I can't wait to wear these. I love them. They fit perfect.
Good. They're cool looking.
Yeah, they are. Maybe a dumb idea putting white on the bottom of something I walk around on my floors with, but whatever. I'll knit another pair if they don't come clean.
So this week I finished 2 pairs of socks and a cowl, but
Well, that's good.
I only have to show you one of the pair of socks. The other the cowl I'll show next week when we're back at the shop, because that's at the shop. And one pair of socks went to my son-in-law. His birthday was Sunday. So I finished them on Saturday, blocked them Saturday night, and gave them to him Sunday morning.
Wow.
With a cupcake and some candy.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. So the one pair I have is here. These were sock tubes. So I just cut them apart. Now this yarn was dyed with beets, I think it was.
Oh, this is your yarn.
Yeah, and beets looks like a reddish purple, but the longer it's in the air, it turns colors. And there's some spots that still look a little pink in there. So I put it with a pink heel and toe and just a little bit at the top. And I did a tubular bind off here.
I noticed that. I saw that right away.
I don't know that that's any stretchier than my 2-stitch I-cord. I mean, it doesn't flare like that.
Well, you'll have to let me know because I love the look of it.
Yeah. Yep. So
I mean, I
tubular
really
bind
do
off.
love the look of this tubular bind off on these socks.
And the way I do a tubular bind off, some people don't do the setup rows, but I do one setup row, which is really 2 rows. You do one row where you knit one, slip one, and your yarn has to always be in front when you're slipping. And then you do a row up, purl one, slip one, and your yarn has to be in the back, so that when you're done, it pulls apart in like 2 different pieces.
Right, and then you Kitchener those two together.
Yeah, and then I put on 2 separate needles and then Kitchener it
Yeah.
together.
I think those are the Pearl Soho. That's what I call them.
Okay.
The Pearl Soho. It's a website that has lots of knitting tutorials on.
I think it might be because it was in one of the Andrea Mowry patterns, I think for Shifty. And I think that's who she recommended. I think she did the tubular cast on herself, and then she recommended Pearl Soho's for the tubular bind off in that pattern.
I've used it, and it is really a nice bind off. These are really pretty.
So these are for me.
I was going to say, who are they for?
These are for me. I'm running low on socks. Mine are starting to wear out. You know, most of my socks are like 5-6 years old, and I tend to have like maybe 4 pair that are favorites each year, you know, and then you wear them over and over and over, and you know, now they're wearing out.
Yeah.
So I need to replenish my sock drawer. So.
You don't darn them?
Well, you shush up. You guilted me into it, so I did do it. on my Hermione's sock.
Oh
that I
my
told you I was
gosh.
throwing out. I went and I got it, and I don't darn them. I do duplicate stitch over where the hole is.
Okay, well that works.
Yeah, so I did that. But I looked around and it's getting thin all around where that hole was too, so it's not gonna last.
Well,
So, but you guilted
You know what?
me into it. But I'm not gonna anyway, because I told you about I darned the purple ones before that, and yeah, they in another spot they're getting a little hole now. So
well, you know what? I mean, they can wear out.
yeah,
I mean, they do.
yeah,
It is what it is. It's any fabric.
Uh-huh.
I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of rubbing that goes on a foot in its shoe.
yeah.
And yeah, that creates
And
friction.
I tend to do the bottom of the heel or where the big toe hits. with
Okay.
My toenails. Yeah.
Well,
so
if you have
those two
sturdy
spots.
nails, that'll do it.
I have very sturdy big toe and thumbs. They're both like so hard.
Wow. See, I don't have that problem.
Yeah. So that's my only FO I brought along.
Wow.
I'll show pictures here of the sock. And I finally got a picture of that blanket that I finished at the end of January for Becky.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll put that in here too.
Cool.
So I don't think I showed it. The gray one with all the quilting, did I show that?
No.
Okay, I'll put a picture.
Nope, I don't remember seeing that.
Okay. All right. So then we're to works in progress.
Mm-hmm.
What are you working on?
Oh, a bunch of stuff. Me and my color work and my knit along fever. This you have not seen this because I haven't had it with me because it's called Lento. It's a cowl, all right, and it starts with a provisional cast on, which is going to be torn out, and probably Kitchenered, although I can't say for sure, to the other end.
Okay.
Okay, and it is designed by a lady in the Netherlands. I get an email every day with 5 rows,
Oh, okay.
and it's Lento, and I found it on Ravelry, and it eventually will be a paid-for pattern, but I don't know if I'll have to pay for it then or what. I have no idea. But anyways, so it's this color work, and there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. So the first section of color work has just long strings in front. Then there's some purling in color work. What the heck? Who does that? And then some stranded here. And then some rest rows. And now I'm into this mosaic. Now I am a day or two behind on this. But
Okay.
it's just, she's making this little square thingy with the
Yeah.
mosaic. So, whatever.
Nice.
So, it's turning out kind of cool. So, what I
Yeah.
chose to knit this in was, I'm digging in the stash.
Good.
I'm telling you. You
Good.
dig in that stash, you find stuff. So, I had these were from a ZK one year. Molly Girl has been at ZK before.
Okay.
And I bought this. So, gray. And it is a gradient cake.
That is really sparkly. I
Yeah,
don't, does it show up on the screen?
I don't know.
Sparkly.
I don't know if it does or not.
Some.
No, well, you can kind of see it. Maybe. But the yarn has sparkles in it. And so the gray does too. So they both have sparkles in it. And I bought the two to go together, actually. And so the way this is going to end up working is it's going to start out with the greens and the lighter colors, if you will, all the way. And then I believe you'll fold it in half and either Kitchener or something, that provisional cast on end,
Yeah.
and it'll be a double thick, double-sided cowl.
There you
Now
go.
mine is not real wide. I didn't make it wide. Some people's are much wider. It's just 24 inches roughly.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, so now this is, I don't know, I think I'm on maybe day 10 or something like that. And yeah, 5 rows a day. I get it done in 20 minutes or so. So anyways, this is Lento.
Okay.
Little project.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. I mean, I'm keeping caught up, and I'll probably take it on the cruise with me next week so that I
Okay.
don't get too far behind. But on the other hand, with 5 rows a day, if
How
I don't,
long does it last? Like a
40 days, it's Lent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 40 days, so 200 rows. And so, like, where I'm at is about 25% maybe. Like I said, there's a couple of days I haven't done anything.
Okay.
So. And then I have a swatch. This is the Summer Sesame.
Okay.
And I
was
knit
gonna
it.
say, what yarn is that? It's pretty.
Yeah, I knit it on my Dreams wood.
Okay.
I
Your
lo-
Royale.
My Royale, my new ones, Royales. Feel this? I love the fabric.
Oh yeah, that'll be nice for a summer top.
Yeah, I just love it. Now I've got to check the gauge. Oh, and by the way, it's a skinny little swatch. It is not 4 inches. I will cut this, and to get an accurate measurement, I will cut it. And I have found that if you think about it, you're never going to be able to use the yarn again if you cut it. But how many times do you do that, anyways?
No, I just save. It's like a safety blanket or whatever. Yeah.
It's a safety blanket. But I know that I have 4 balls of this, and I will probably only use 3 unless I have to add lots of length because it's just too short for me. I'm longer. I might be short, but I'm long-waisted, it seems.
Okay.
Because I add length to darn near every pattern.
Yeah. Well, they make so many of them crop these days.
And I don't do crop, so. At any rate, the other thing I wanted to tell you about this, and that's why I put it in my works in progress. I'm going to cast the sweater on because I got the pattern. It's for a test knit for Laura Ayler. It bled.
Oh,
My water
okay.
was blue.
But it didn't adhere here. Because,
Well,
I mean, your gold is still gold.
Yeah.
It didn't turn green at all.
I don't have a ball of it handy. It didn't, I don't think it did.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if this was only a little bit, what if there was a whole sink full of blue?
Yeah. Well, I'll put a color catcher in.
Exactly. That's what I will do. But
Yeah.
I wanted you to know that.
Okay.
So if somebody's using this yarn for something, color catcher.
Okay.
So I got that. And then I started this. This is the March Laura Ayler, and it doesn't look like anything. But I'm using Rowan felted tweed, and I just started, it's the beginning of a shawl. This is a very basic shawl. It literally has a huge body of stockinette, a bit of texture, and then a ruffle.
Okay.
So there's not a whole lot to this shawl. It's probably going to be the most boring knit. But this is the airplane
Okay.
because it's small enough right now. So, yeah. I've never used Rowan felted tweed before. Feel that, it's pretty soft.
Yeah. I used to have it at the store.
Really?
Yeah. But I stopped carrying it when I stopped doing Serdar.
Oh, got it. So, well, I've never knit it. I'm enjoying that. I mean, it's very soft. So I got that going on. And then the last one, my niece is having a baby. And so I said, I'm going to knit a baby blanket because I felt like a baby blanket. So this is one repeat of the pattern. Not very babyish, but
Be careful, you're coming off at this end.
oh, good news, it's cotton yarn. Won't pull out
Yeah.
there. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I love cotton baby blankets.
Yeah, and this is Blue Sky worsted cotton.
Okay.
And I love it for baby blankets because they go fast. I mean, I think I did this Saturday night.
Okay.
I might have had a row or two done of this color. And then the rest I did Saturday night. Now, granted, we didn't do anything Saturday night, but I don't know. But this is a free pattern. Chevron baby blanket, it's called.
Okay.
And it calls for this worsted cotton. So now the repeat is these 4, and you don't put this color back on until the last row.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not very babyish, but I love the colors. They're fun.
Yeah.
So this one, because it's going to get big, won't travel. This will be
Yeah.
TV knitting when I want to pay attention to the TV.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on.
All right. Well, I brought my 2 home projects that I'm working on. So, a sandy bag,
Yep.
and I'm working on the body. This is
So pretty.
feel how soft this stuff is.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
This is Juniper Moon Tenzing. So this is my body. I am going to steek it, so it's got a split here for the ribbon.
Okay.
And so that's the body. I have the sleeves done already. I did those first. So
When you're knitting in the round, oh, I love that color work on the end.
yeah,
That
I
is
just
beautiful.
added myself.
That is just beautiful.
Because it was plain on the pattern, but this is from the Strange Brew book, and you know that's like a build your own anyway. But it's the bottom row here of the yoke.
Okay.
So this sweater, I believe, is called Compass, right? That's what it's called. Oh no, it's called Trek. Compass is the 2 color one. Yeah, this sweater's called Trek. I'm working from the Strange Brew book. I love that book. Yeah, because you get a lot of other useful information. Oh, I did have a second sleeve in here. Kind of matches the first one. So this is what I think I
This
talked
is for
to you
you.
about. Yeah, that's why it was on hold during all my gift knitting. These needles, these are the
Dreams.
bamboo chaigus.
Oh.
And I love chaigu, but on the bamboo, look how skinny that cord is.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, their red lace has such a nice cord. And then so I get the bamboo so it's gentler on my hands, and I get such a shitty cord. I mean, they spin, which is nice. This can spin around and around and around.
Oh, that is nice.
So they don't, but still, I don't like that cord. So it makes a good stitch holder.
That works.
But
I absolutely love this color of yarn, and I know
Yeah.
you've got a bunch of it at the shop.
Yep.
So I'm kind of waiting till you're done with your sweater, so you know that you have the quantity you need.
yeah,
And then I'm coming in. I'm gonna buy a sweater quantity of that color because I
Okay.
love the color.
okay. So
Yeah.
so that's the sweater I'm working on at home, and as I said, it's for me. So who knows? It'll take a while because I put it.
I
on
can't wait
hold.
till you start working on that color work.
Well, once I do that, then it'll just be done. Because you start doing that, you don't want to stop.
I know.
And I brought my scrap project, which I'll probably show a million times. Now, there's a podcast I just started watching, and I think it's called Skeins of Dreams. Okay, and so I just started watching, and she has a blanket, a year-long blanket make-along, and it's called Blankets of Dreams Make-along, M-A-L, if you look for it on Instagram. So I'm entering that. This is crocheted. It's just an old-fashioned ripple Afghan. I did not have a pattern. I did my old trick of make a chain wider than the lazy boy. And and I'm trying to do 8 rows of tan neutrals and 6 rows of gray in the neutrals. I'm not going to add any of my color scraps in it. And then the white that I'm carrying along is just the bamboo sock, the Kylie bamboo sock in natural.
Okay.
I cut it off the cone to bring it because I didn't want to bring the cone.
Well, I
But
get
yeah,
that.
and I have a size F hook. So just scraps. That's how far I am. Sometimes I feel like crocheting instead of knitting.
That's okay.
I like the fabric. You gonna feel it?
Yeah, I do. Oh, that is nice.
Uh-huh.
And it's yeah, it'll be nice on the chair.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And crochet, so it's the same on both sides. You know, they both look the same. There's no right side, wrong side.
I'm going to start a scrappy blanket.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have this one started here. I'm going to do the northeasterly with my pastel scraps because I love the look of Jules on So Sweet Violet. Hers is gorgeous.
Okay.
So, so I'll have all my brights or dark colors that I don't know what to do with. I might start using them when I run socks on the sock machine, you know, as my scrap yarn in between.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on at home. Next week or next time I'll show you the other one. Now I will try to post a video in the next week. I was going to do it yesterday, but we had a little disaster on Saturday.
Just a small one.
Oh, at the shop, we were having the knit in, and everybody was there, luckily, and the bathroom started leaking from upstairs.
I mean, I'm sitting at the end of the table, and we hear this water running. And it starts out like, oh, they're taking a shower upstairs. No. Next thing you know, I look, and there's water all over the bathroom floor, seeping out onto the carpet. What a mess.
Yeah. So, and I had a customer in there at the time, of course. Actually, I think there were two of them.
Yeah, you were busy Saturday.
Yeah. So Amy ran upstairs and found a maintenance guy plunging the bathtub, actually breaking the pipe.
Yeah.
With the water running.
Well, he had stopped by that point in time because the water rushed down. So he thought the clog was gone.
Yeah, but he ran probably 50 gallons of water through before he shut the water off.
Yeah, so whatever, you know, in the process of plunging it, he busted the pipe.
Yeah.
And so there's water all over the wall. Coming down.
It's gross.
What a mess. And it's gross and it's nasty. But the good news is it was bathtub water, not water from somewhere else.
It wasn't.
I guess. But
it's still, my whole bathroom is full of brown streaks on the wall.
Well, and that's because it would have picked up all the dirt from the inside of the wall. I mean, let's face it. There's probably a whole lot of dust in there.
And
it's
the
an
rust,
old building.
The rust from the pipe, too.
Absolutely. All of that's
and
going to stain the wall.
And I scrubbed it, as soon as you guys left, I scrubbed it all with that Clorox bleach soap. And that didn't take it off. I thought if I got it right away, it would take. I probably would have had to scrub it like instantly. So we got to paint in there now.
Well, the landlord can come paint in there now. This is he needs to put your bathroom back the way it was.
Mm-hmm. And I got to move the shelves back though, because I pulled the shelf out, because the guy that came down with the shop vac, he didn't really get under the shelves very good.
Well, so I don't think he could. I mean, I don't think he could.
Yeah, so I pulled it out. So now I'll have to push it back. They did bring me in an industrial fan, so it was dry by the time I got there on Sunday.
Okay, well, that's good.
It was dry, but they have to come back again tomorrow to put in new ceiling tiles. So it was a disaster. So by filming that cowl video, the tutorial, didn't happen. Maybe it will happen next weekend, because I don't think it'll happen during the week.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, you got people coming in, you can't really do it then.
Right. Yeah, and I'm getting my COVID booster on Wednesday, so I don't want to plan anything for Wednesday night. I don't know.
Right.
Now I'm going to get the Pfizer booster, even though I had Moderna for the first two.
Well, and that's funny. I did it the opposite. I had Moderna for the first two, and then my booster was Pfizer.
That's what I just said I'm getting.
Oh.
I'm getting Pfizer,
okay.
But I had Moderna.
You had Moderna.
Two.
That's what I had. Okay.
Yeah.
My experience was, other than soreness at the injection site, nothing.
Okay. I'm hoping. But I don't want to plan anything.
Okay. We're back.
So, other things that are going on is we're doing the Hugo Poncho knit along. You can join on Instagram with MC Hugo KAL. That's the hashtag. Or you can join in the Ravelry group, and you can also join in person Thursdays from 3 to 4. And then
I saw some gorgeous Hugos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some half done already.
Yeah. Well, it's not a hard knit.
We started last week, but it's going to run for 6 weeks, so you can join along anytime. And you don't have to have a finish for prizes. So you had to be at the kickoff party to get the first prizes, though. I gave away 2 prizes then. So,
I missed it.
well, you wouldn't have
Not
been
knitting
eligible
Hugo
anyway. You're not
Well,
knitting
I'm not
one.
knitting. Well, I knit a poncho,
Well, this
but
was
I
for
already
Hugo.
knit Hugo.
Yeah.
So I'll enter my Hugo in the FOs because I already knit it. But
Okay.
no, I don't.
So, and then April 16th, we're going to do a soundtrack.
Yes,
So if you want to join us for that, that's a paid class.
there will be homework for that one.
Yeah, and that it's just 2 sessions as a class, but then informally you can come to our open knitting and work on it and get all the help you need.
Yes, and the homework will be to knit a swatch
Oh, okay.
in the round. So there's 2 ways to knit a swatch in the round. I knew I had this here for a reason. You can do like I do and just knit. I put in, this one, I think I did like 35 stitches or something like that, 36 in the round, whatever. And then I magic looped it, okay? And so you end up with a skinny tube. And then I will cut my tube, but then I can lay this flat and get a good gauge measurement. And I'm knitting in the round the same way my sweater will be knit. Or the other thing that you can do is there is a way to, when you get to the end of the row, let your yarn hang loose and just move your stitches to the other end and start knitting another row with your working yarn, but not pulling it tight so that it like lays floppy in the back so that you'll be able to take this and lay it flat.
Okay.
So those are the 2 ways to knit a swatch in the round. And since soundtrack is knit in the round, you should swatch in the round. What you want to find is the right needle size for the gauge in the pattern.
Okay. Let me add one more tip. When you have your swatch like this, say it's 30 stitches for your 4 inches.
Okay.
Okay. So like 2 stitches after you started, do a purl column, like your ribbing, and then do 30 stitches and then do another purl column, and then you don't have to count when you're done.
You'll
can
know
just
that that's
measure
30
it.
stitches.
If that 30 stitches is 4 inches, you're spot on.
Oh,
Some people have trouble counting. I don't, you don't, because we're used to reading our knitting very well. But some people have trouble counting all the V's. So that's a way you don't have to count it when it's flat. You just put a purl rib before and after your 30 stitches. Or whatever the gauge is, I don't know.
that would work.
Yeah.
So you will need to know what your gauge is or what needles will get that gauge because I don't remember what the gauge is in the pattern, but you need to make sure, okay, it's a garment. Gauge is important.
Yes.
It's got to fit.
Yep.
So I make a swatch, wash it the same way you plan on washing your sweater and blocking it the same way you plan to block your sweater. Me, I'm just generally a hand wash, dry flat kind of girl when it comes to some people put their knitted sweaters in the washing machine. I generally don't.
I do on the gentle cycle.
And
then sometimes I dry them for 10 minutes, sometimes I don't.
I dry them flat in my drying cabinet.
Yeah, you have that.
Yeah.
I have a
forbid
dog. Dog crates make wonderful drying racks because you get air top and bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, don't have a dog anymore, but I got this big, huge dog crate in the basement. I was going to get rid of it, and I was like, no, where will I dry my sweaters?
That's an issue.
Yeah.
But so if you want to join us for soundtrack, it's just Marie Green writes a good pattern to learn from, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I have frogged my first one, and that yarn
and not
is waiting.
because of the pattern, just because of the yarn colors.
My color contrast was crappy. The sweater actually, once I got it off the needles, I tried it on and it fit fine. So that was a good thing.
Yeah. I haven't heard anybody complain about the pattern or the fit of the pattern when they're done.
No, it's really a nice pattern.
Just make sure you have enough contrast between your main color and your colors up here.
Yeah, that's the part I screwed up on.
Yeah.
So that's okay because I'm going to use that yarn and the color that I wanted for my contrast in a different sweater. So I know exactly what I'm doing with it. It's going to be a sock arms.
Oh,
and I'm going to
okay.
do a cardigan.
Very nice.
So I'm going to do a sock arm cardigan, and so then the blue that's in the yarn doesn't it'll connect with the sweater in a nice way.
Be good.
It didn't. They were too close in color wise, and it didn't. You didn't get the contrast you needed. So
right, and I am going to knit another one while you're knitting that.
Oh, really?
For the class, yeah. I'm debating on my contrast yet. I think I might go for something fuzzy, like Angora or something. Something fuzzy for my contrast color.
I'm gonna knit mine out of Kenzie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm stash diving.
Yep.
I'm having a blast. I'm in the stash.
Yeah, I have maybe 2 more sweater quantities of Kenzie, and then it's done at the shop because they don't do it anymore. They don't make
miss
it
it.
anymore.
It's like my favorite sweater yarn. It has a great halo. It's sticky enough that color work looks good, but it's not itchy. It is not a superwash, so you kind of got to keep that in mind. But because it's not a superwash, it doesn't grow immensely.
Right.
And so for sweaters, I truly prefer non-superwash yarns, and I've gotten to the point where I didn't realize I would be that way. Because I use superwash for everything,
Yeah.
Superwash is the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, not when it's a sweater and it's growing on you immensely and your sweater is now down to your knees,
Yeah.
No.
Just if you're used to knitting with superwash and you switch to non-superwash, you probably need to go up a size.
You might, because they don't grow.
Yeah, because they don't grow.
Yeah. So, then, and the other thing is, I met Marie Green.
Oh, at Stitches West?
Yeah. Okay, we were talking about my travels. I was in California last week. It was kind of fortunate because my son happens to live just outside of Sacramento, 20 minutes actually, from his house to the convention center where Stitches West was being held. And I already booked my hotel room.
Your hotel room.
Yeah, right. That's what I call it now.
Oh.
When I told Derek and Ashley that I will be back out next year on March 2nd for Stitches West again. I mean, if they're going to do Stitches West in Sacramento, and my son happens to live in a suburb of Sacramento, I think I'm going to go get a free hotel room, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's a good time to plan to see your son. I mean, you want to go out there 1 to 2 times every year anyway.
Well, that's just it.
Just coordinate.
So, yeah. So, they know I'm coming already, and I had a blast. I mean, so I went to Stitches West on Thursday and Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, I didn't go. I was hanging out with them. We did stuff. But, I mean, I could have gone. I would have liked to have taken Ashley to the yarn market and really knock her socks off.
Oh, yeah.
But it's okay. We did other stuff. And I met Marie Green. That was fun.
Is she a bubbly, happy personality?
Yeah.
That's what her pictures all look like, you know? Like she's just...
Yeah. And I enjoyed it very much.
Good.
And I bought a bunch of yarn. Miss Babs was there, and I bought some Miss Babs.
Okay.
I gotta show you. I'll show my stash. I did not buy a lot. I was impressed with the restraint. Okay. This is probably the most restraint I've ever had at a Stitches event.
Oh, okay.
But I had room in the suitcase because I took out sausage and cheese and beer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, at the Miss Babs booth, I bought this set. It's Yowza in a 3 colors, but there is a sweater out there that has 3 contrasting colors of Yowza. Okay, so I think they're beautiful together. We'll put this one in the middle. I just love these 3 colors. Anyways, I have this tan. Very close to like that.
Okay.
1 thread, but it has color work like a mosaic pattern here and then on the bottom of the sweater.
Okay.
So my plan is to use these 3 as the mosaic section.
Okay.
And they had my color is called Coastal Fog, and they happen to have that color out there hanging on the rack in Yowza. So I went and I grabbed a skein of that and matched this set to it.
Okay.
So I bought that. And then So Happy Jane was there, and we met So Happy Jane when we were up at the Ann Budd retreat years ago. And I love her yarn, but she's out of Oregon and doesn't necessarily do shows or events around here. I mean, you can order her yarn online. I mean, as any indie dyer, it's expensive. But she came out with this one. It's called Sustain Fin Sport, and it is Northeast U.S. Fin, which is a kind of sheep, I guess, and Northwest U.S. Merino 3-ply.
Okay.
Okay, and so it is a non-superwash, very soft. I bought a sweater quantity of this. It's a sport weight, but I think it'll knit up DK. All right, or I'll be able to knit it DK. So this might be my panic sweater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah,
It's
Casapinka's coming out with
19th.
it. The 19th. I won't start this till next month, but that's what I bought the So Happy Jane. I bought a sweater quantity of this stuff. And I just love the color. And So Happy Jane, she helped me pick it out.
Okay.
So, and then I bought some more So Happy Jane. We did a shawl several years ago called Elevation. And it calls for a single skein and 5 minis. So I bought this because I just love these colors. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
And I love this speckle. It's called Sassy Ballerina. Many people don't realize this. I did ballet as a kid.
Oh.
So it just was calling to me.
Okay.
Anyways.
And you are sassy.
Really?
Of course.
Anyway, so the designer, I can't remember her name. It'll be in the notes. The designer had a whole series of shawls and that she did that calls for 5 minis and 1 full skein.
Okay.
And so I am going to knit another one in that series. And it was actually Jane. Her real name isn't Jane, but heck, if I can think what her real name is right now. She's the one that said, oh yeah, she's got a whole bunch, just go look.
Oh, okay.
And so that's when I picked out one. This one's a Boomerang.
Okay.
So, so I'm gonna knit that. I don't know when I'll start it, but I love these minis. And then I bought one other thing, and that was, we saw this yarn. It's called Feederbrook Farm, and it's a twist, okay? A lot like, it's called Entrophy Decay, and the color, what's the color? I don't remember what the color is. Isotope. And it's all blues and aquas and grays. Okay, and I love this yarn. I just love it. Andrea Mowry always calls for Spin Cycle. This is Spin Cycle, or same thing, only lots less expensive. Well, not a lot.
Right.
But the yardage on this is way better. So it's about the same price a skein, but you get
100 there.
100 here. Whereas on the Spin Cycle, you get 50. So this is going to go with these 2 colors, and I'm going to knit a shawl called the Courage Shawl. We saw the Courage Shawl when we stopped at that yarn shop when we were traveling to ZK last summer.
Oh, okay.
And Amy and Lori bought this at the shop.
Yeah.
And I loved the shawl, but I didn't buy it. And then I thought, oh crap, but this kind of yarn, I don't like to buy this online. I like to see it, okay?
Yeah.
So there was a booth there that had this. And I thought, oh, I love it. So I bought it. And then I bought these 2 colors to go with it. So that's going to be my Courage Shawl.
Yeah, that'll be pretty.
Isn't that going to be pretty? Now this stuff is yak.
Oh, well, you know I love yak because I love using tensing.
Yeah, it's yak. And it's naturally soft. They buy it from nomadic Tibetan herders, it says.
Oh.
100% baby yak. So, we'll see.
Cool.
It'll probably be the warmest shawl I own.
Yeah.
But I'm so looking forward to knitting it. So I want to I got to test that test knit sweater I got to do. I want to get that done and off my needles and just not worrying about it. And then my knit along shawl off my needles and done with and not worrying about it. And the baby blanket, she's not due till June, so I'll be working on it at the end of May frantically, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for Casapinka's sweater.
well, yeah, so am I. So, but the problem with that is that sweater, when I get home, well, the pattern will be out, but I should really start my soundtrack.
Yeah, right.
And so we're going to be knitting our second soundtrack, or knitting soundtrack, and we're going to want to knit that.
Well, for me, it's perfect because the soundtrack's at home, the panic will be at the shop. You know, I like to leave my projects everywhere. So for me, that works out perfectly.
Not me.
But what does that mean for my yak sweater that I'm going to steek? Will probably get put on hold again.
No. You got to finish these things.
I know. Well, if I get closer to the yoke,
okay,
then it will go very fast. So
that's true because that yoke
during the rest of this week I knit a bunch on that and get close to the yoke, then it'll get done.
Yeah. Okay. So then the last thing I bought. This is why the yarn was. I love it. I love this bag.
Yeah.
I love this bag. I'm going to tell Ron I want the week overnighter one that matches it. It's a tenty.
Yeah.
They're extremely
beautiful.
expensive. Extremely expensive. And I gave up yarn to get that bag. But it's all my colors. I mean, you look at that bag and it says me.
Yeah.
It does. You know, it's got the denim, it's got the lime green, it's got the blues and the pinks.
It's a beautiful bag.
Yeah. So I splurged, bought myself a bag.
There you go.
Traveled 2,000 miles to get a bag. What the hell?
It called you.
It called to me. It did. So that's what Stitches was fun. I did a class.
Oh, what class did you do?
How to make money from your knitting.
Oh,
like you want to start a craft business. Okay. Having some business experience between my business degree from college way back when, my husband running his own business, you know, ever since I've known him. Well, actually, was working for his dad back then, but nonetheless, in a small business. I do get small business, okay? I do understand it. Well, and she was talking about a lot of things about having a business plan and how you turn your craft business into, or your crafting, your love of crafting into a business. She had a lot of really good ideas. I don't want to, you know, but I also decided I don't want to work that hard.
No, I don't think you could ever knit for money and be profitable. I mean, knitting takes so many hours to make
that's just
a thing that if you want to sell your time for $1 an hour, you could make money, but
well, and I think that dyeing yarn, you know, dyeing, a person could make money off of.
Right. That is also very labor intensive, and you need a lot of strength because carrying those pots around is heavy. You know, that's not an easy job. People think it's easy, but it's not.
Well, and you know, what struck me is like, now you've dyed absolutely gorgeous yarns. And I think your sense of color is just as good as anybody else's I've met. So what is it that takes a person, a dyer, you know, like So Happy Jane. She's indie, completely independent, shows up at a couple shows a year. She's, you know, obviously getting into stitches was good for her business. Or, you know, but, okay. What is it about an indie dyer? I mean, think about all the indie dyers that we've seen make it big. And then when I was going through my stash, looking at all these indie dyed skeins of sock yarns of indie dyers that we haven't heard from since.
Right.
What is it that makes them successful? And that was the one question she can't answer.
Oh, well, I can. Who's willing to work hard?
Well,
The ones that made it big are hard workers, and the ones that died out probably thought it was going to be an easy gig, you know, for the most part.
but I think there is something to be said about, I'm thinking of one indie dyer, and I don't want to use her name because I don't mean this in a negative way, but I know of an indie dyer that we've met, and we've bought yarn from. I got some in the stash at ZK, and she became very famous because of one particular shawl that one designer used her yarn to knit. And now this gal is still dyeing yarn, but I don't know if she has the same level of notoriety anymore. And I think about that, and man, she made a killing off of her yarn that she dyed. I'm not saying, you know, I think her yarn is pretty. I do. I have it stashed, and when I figure out the right project, it will get used, without a doubt. But I'm not necessarily, like, you know, I don't consider her yarn as my collectible yarn. Definitely not. It will be used yarn because it's beautiful. And I just think about that.
Yeah.
You know, and so the things, you know, she talked about a business plan. She talked in this class about your cost of your goods. And she says, if you're knitting something, you have to consider the cost of your time.
Yeah.
Because your time is worth something. And people who knit, you know, I mean, okay, think about it. I will take 30 hours, maybe, and knit a shawl. I don't know if that's a good or bad. It's going to be a good size shawl for 30 hours, probably. What's my hourly rate? I started thinking about that. Minimum wage is what?
$7.75 or something like that.
Well, I'm
isn't it?
sorry, but my knitting is worth more than $7.75 an hour.
Right.
But then you think about, okay, how do you price that hourly rate? And that's something that, you know, she said, you have to figure that out.
Yeah. Well,
because your
even
time is worth something.
Even $10 an hour, that's $300. Plus your yarn, you know, that makes it $400. Is it going to be possible to sell a shawl for $400? Probably not.
No.
No.
Which is the other reason I thought this is just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Now, what this lady does, she sells beads.
Okay.
And I think that there's a lot less time involved.
Right.
But she did do a lot of talking about trademarking or using, you know, you getting your domain name and all of that stuff. She talked a lot about that so that you can use social media to market. And that was useful. And then she got into a lot of the, you know, business license, taxpayer ID ramifications, those kinds of things. She did talk about that. So clearly this woman was knowledgeable, okay? But I just took it because it was available. I have an interest in business, but I don't really want to start a craft business.
Right.
You know, I just did it because that's what was available. Next year, I'm signing up sooner because I want a class where Franklin have it.
Oh, okay.
Or Carson Demers, or, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what happened was I dragged my feet and the class is filled. And so I had slim pickings and this worked out. I did not want to do a 6-hour class. I wanted a 3-hour class. Turns out I could have done a 6 because I was there all day. Anyways, but live and learn.
Yeah.
I'll go back next year and I'll get the class I want then.
Yep.
But I will sign up for that class right away rather than drag my feet. And that's my fault.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, and I guess I was thinking, I sure hope they bring the Midwest back, but it doesn't look like there's nothing on the calendar. And I looked at their schedule because it was on the back of the show, the market book. And I looked at the schedule, and it's not on there for the Midwest. And I do know they lost the venue. I did hear that rumor.
Yeah.
So who knows how hard they're looking for another one.
Right. They should go to Minneapolis. There's a lot of yarn shops in Minneapolis. A lot of... I mean, that would be a fun place to go to a Stitches.
It's further away for us.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know. I'd rather drive in Minneapolis than Chicago.
Oh, you don't really go into Chicago?
Well, yeah, I guess it's on 294.
Yeah, and west of there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not far. Getting there is easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, getting there is no problem. But I've never driven in Minneapolis, so I have no idea. I have no reference. I haven't been there. I mean, gosh, it was years I was up there with my mom many, 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 many years ago. I don't think I ever went with Ron. So anyway, I mean, I had a good time.
Anyway.
Yeah, I had a good time. I'll go back.
Good.
You know, and I enjoy going to knitting events, and you know, let's face it, this one didn't cost me a hotel room, so.
Yeah.
Oh, and then my son, of course, he's carting his mother all over, and I mean, I can't even so much as buy a drink when I'm with him.
Oh,
Yeah, so.
that's sweet.
It was. I mean, I appreciate him.
Yep.
And then, and the other thing one of the booths was a local yarn shop.
Oh.
That is about, Ashley said maybe 15 minutes from their house. And it's actually where Casapinka will be teaching her panic sweater this weekend.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay? And so she had her panic sweater in the booth there.
Okay.
And that's where I saw it. And the texture is beautiful. Anyways, I kind of chatted with her. And so I left her business card with Ashley.
Okay.
Phone's ringing.
Oh, it was playing music. I thought maybe it was the clock.
No, it was my phone, but yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know the number, so I don't care.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I
There
guess
we have
that's that.
Long podcast today.
Yep. Well, it's been a while, and it's going to probably be a while again. We probably won't be back for 3 weeks now or so.
Well, let's see. Yeah. Well, maybe no.
Because
2
the end
weeks.
of the month, I'll be doing quilting.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be the first week of April.
Yeah. So it'll be 3 weeks before we're back.
Wow.
So you take care. There'll be a little tutorial video in between for the cowl.
Yep.
And that's that.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.